Good morning, students. Welcome back to my channel. So, before starting today's topic, let's first recall what we have learned in our previous class. So, just have a quick revision. See, in my last video lecture, we were discussed about electric field intensity. That is the strength of electric field, which can be given as force per unit test charge. It can be represented as E equals to F by Q naught, force per unit charge. The SI unit will be Newton per Coulomb, and it is a vector quantity. Here I am representing to electric field. Electric field is a vector quantity. What will be the direction of this electric field? It will be the direction along which positive charge moves. Keep in this mind, the direction of electric field is always represented along the direction in which positive charge moves. Dimension can also be found out, and the direction of this electric field is from positive to negative. Originates from positive and terminates at negative. From this formula, we concluded on this: F equals to Q times of E, force on a charge in an electric field, which means whenever we place any charge inside the field, it will experience the force F equals to QE. And because of this force, the charge particle will start accelerating. So from the Newton's law, we can write that ma equals to QE. So the acceleration equals to QE by m. And from again equation of motion, we came to know that displacement is proportional to acceleration. Higher the acceleration, more will be the displacement of the particle. Positive charge always moves in the direction of the field, and negative charge always moves in the opposite direction of the field. Suppose these are the two plates. Electric field is from positive to negative, and if I place a positive charge, then this positive charge will move in the direction of the field with the force F equals to QE, and this negative charge moves opposite to the direction of the field with the force F equals to Q times of E. On moving further, we also studied about the electric field due to point charge. That is a single charge. What will be the electric field that a single charge can produce? This is our charge, source charge, and at a distance of r. This is point P. I have to find electric field at this point. Then the electric field at this point is as given as E equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. Epsilon naught is here because right now air is the medium. If any another medium will be there, then we can replace it with epsilon. In vector form, we can write here unit vector r cap, which will only represent the direction. So see, if this charge is positive, the charge source charge is positive, then the electric field will be radially outward. If I take this charge positive, then the electric field will be acting away from the charge. If the charge is negative, then the electric field will be acting towards the charge, that is radially inward. From one more important conclusion we can draw: electric field and distance r. You see that electric field is inversely related to r square, which means electric field obeys inverse square law. As the value of r increases, which means as we move away from the charge, distance increases, the strength of electric field decreases, and this is a graphical representation between E and R. So move to our today's topic: electric lines of force, or also termed as electric field lines. Now see, in our last lecture, we have seen that a charge always represent electric field, the space around a charge, which is termed as electric field. This region is only known as electric field. This electric field is real, but what helps in the production of this electric field, that is only known as electric field lines. It is assumed that a charge emits electric field line, means these electric field lines are only responsible for the formation of electric field. This concept was given by Michael Faraday. According to Michael Faraday, these electric field is present because of this electric field lines. He named these lines as lines of force. Why he termed these lines of force? We can also know them as the line of force, as well as electric field line. See, suppose this is charge Q and this one is also charge Q. It is positive charge and this is negative charge. So electric field will be there between these two charges. And suppose a small charge Q naught, it is placed here. This Q naught will move along a line from charge A to charge B. The direction along which this Q naught moves, this line will represent the electric field line. Now, because this line exerting force on this charge, so Faraday named them line of force. And we can also know them as electric field lines. So these electric field lines are present around a charge which is responsible for the formation of electric field. So see the definition. An electric field line defined as the curve along which a small positive charge tend to move in an electric field. So the direction of this small positive charge only gives you the direction of your electric field lines. In which manner this charge moves, that will be the representation of the electric field line. So the main thing which we have to cover is the properties of these electric field lines, and many questions are used to be asked from these properties. So we will discuss each property with one question attached to it. So let's move. See the first property. The electric field lines start at positive charge and terminates at the negative charge. Most important property of the electric field. If this is positive charge and this is negative charge, suppose it is a line joining the two charges, then this electric field will starting from positive and terminates themselves at negative. They will start from positive and terminate at negative. This will be the representation of electric field lines. Means you will see that from positive charge these field lines are going outward, and in negative charge they are coming inward. Positive charge emits the electric field line, and whereas negative charge terminates the electric field line. So you will see that all the lines are moving from point A to point B. If they are not coming back to point A, then we can say that these field lines does not form closed loop. Now it is an important question used to ask in the exam. Does electric field line form closed loop? So your answer will be no. Electric field lines never form closed loop. And what is the reason for not forming the closed loop? Because they always starts from positive charge and terminates at negative charge. They won't come back to positive, so they will never form closed loops. These closed loops are only formed in the case of magnetic field lines, which we'll discuss in our magnet chapter. They will form closed loops, but electric field lines never form closed loops because they always travel from positive terminal to negative. So second point is the tangent. The tangent drawn to this field at any point will give us the direction of electric field at that point. Now suppose this is an electric field line only, and I draw a tangent at point P. This is point P, and one tangent is drawn at this point P. Then this tangent will give you the direction of the electric field E. This direction of electric field is reference to the point P. Suppose I take here point Q and I draw the tangent at this point Q, then this will be the direction of electric field in reference to point Q. This is point R and this is the tangent drawn. So this tangent will be the direction of the electric field with reference to the point R. So in this way, on plotting a tangent at any point on the electric field line will give you the direction of electric field of that point. Moving to the third point, No two lines of force can cross each other. It is said that electric field lines never intersect each other. It is not possible. Such kind of intersection is not possible. Why? So suppose these two are the electric field lines and I am saying that they are interacting at point P. Now see, in the previous point we know the tangent gives you the direction of the field. So at this point, how many tangents can we draw? First tangent, and this one will be the second tangent. This two tangent will gives us the two different direction of electric field. At this point P, two tangents can be drawn which will represent two direction of electric field, and that is not possible because we know the electric field is unique and symmetric along the line. So this kind of intersection is not possible. So two lines of force never intersect each other. If the reason is asked why, so you can write it down that the reason for not intersecting is, so you have to learn this reason. If these line intersect, which is not possible, it is trying to say that if they do so, then there will be two tangents. As we can see, two tangents are drawn. Two tangents can be drawn at the point of intersection, and hence two directions of the field will be there. At the same point, there will be two directions, which is physically not possible. So we say that the two lines never intersect each other. So questions can be asked, does two lines intersect each other? If not, then why? Explain the reason. Then you can state this reason also. Moving to our next point. Fourth point is the lines of force. These electric field lines are continuous curve without any breaks, which means there is no any breaks between the line. If this is the charge, suppose Q1, another charge Q2. It is positive and it is negative. Electric field line is present from Q1 to Q2. In this field, if I place a small charge Q0, this charge will move along a line. There will no any breaks in the line, which means the charge will continuously be moving from Q1 to Q2. Just think, in a flowing river, if this is the direction of the flow of a river and I place a wooden block on this river, so this block will continues to move in the flow of river. They will not such thing that this block will move for some time, then stop, again move, again stop. It will continues to be moving in the direction of this river. In the same manner, if I place a charge Q0 in the field, it will continues to be moved from first charge to second charge. In this way, we say that these lines are continuous curve without any breaks. So moving toward the fifth point, electric field lines are always perpendicular to the surface of a conductor, or you can say electric field lines are always perpendicular to the charged body. Now suppose it is a conductor and positive charge is given to this conductor. Now as it is positive charge, we know electric field moves outward. The direction of this electric field will be outward, but this field line will make an angle of 90 degree on this conductor. So sometimes question has also be asked, what is the angle between the surface of the conductor and the electric field? So there is always 90 degree angle between the electric field line and surface. So these electric field lines are always perpendicular to the charged body. So if it is negative, then also the electric field line will enter this body. This will be also perpendicular, and they leave the body, that will be also perpendicular. Means they are always perpendicularly to the charged body. Now again, what is the reason for this? Why we can say that electric field lines are always perpendicular to the charged body? Now try to understand. In our earlier class, we have seen your F equals to Q times of E, the force experienced by a charge due to electric field, which means if electric field is present around a charge, it will experience a force F equals to QE. Now, suppose this is a conducting plate and charge is given to this plate, positive charge. Now, if we say that these lines are not perpendicular, suppose we are saying that these electric field lines are not perpendicular, then some of these lines will be in this direction also, making some angle with the surface theta. On resolving this, there will be two components of this electric field. One component will be E cos theta and other component will be E sin theta. Now, this component of electric field, E cos theta, it is acting parallel to the surface, which means if there is electric field and some charge is placed in it, then this charge will experience a force of F equals to QE, and because of which this charge will start moving. And as the charge moves, thus there is a flow of electric current. If electric field lines are not parallel and they move along the surface, then because of this electric field, the charge should also move on this surface, and because of this charge, the surface must conduct electric current. But such phenomena does not occur. We does not find any such phenomena on the charged body, so we say that electric field are always perpendicular to this body. They can never be along the body, nor they can make any other angle other than 90 degree. These electric fields are always making 90 degree with the charged body. So you can just go through this reason I have written here. If these lines of force are not normal, as we know the lines are perpendicular, but we are taking it negative sense. If the lines are not normal to the conductor, then the component of electric field parallel to the surface, just like this one, the component of electric field parallel to the surface would cause the charge to move, and as the charge starts moving, it will set up electric current on the surface. But practically no such current flows on the surface, so it resembles that the electric field lines are always perpendicular to the charged body. These 2 points, 6 and 7, are very much important to understand the two most important phenomena. As we already know, similar charges always repel each other, opposite charges always attract each other. But what is the reason of repulsion and what is the reason of attraction? These two we can explain from these two small points. The lines of force, that is electric field lines, expand sidewise, and because of this expansion along the sidewise, the charges get repelled. See in the figure, suppose this is positive charge Q and this is also a positive charge Q. So this is a line joining the two charges, and if we have to draw the electric field lines, this case electric field line will tend to repel. So in this case, both are positive charge, and as the electric field line moves forward, this electric field line expands sidewise. And due to this expansion of electric field line, both the charges will get repel each other, and there will be one point which can represent as end point. This end point is also termed as neutral point, or you can say the point at which the net electric field is zero, because the electric field due to both the charge will cancel out each other, so the net electric field will be zero. That point is termed as neutral point. This figure is for point 6. Now what the point 7 explain, the line of force contract lengthwise if we take two opposite charges, suppose positive and negative, and we know the electric field line move from positive to negative. But in this case, while moving from positive to negative, these electric field lines try to contract in the lengthwise direction, which means as they move from one side to another, these electric field lines will contract, and on contracting, both of these charges will come closer to each other, which shows that opposite charges attract each other and similar charges repel each other because of expansion and contraction of electric field lines. So moving to the next point, point 8 states that no field lines will pass through a conductor, or because electric field inside a conductor is always zero. Now let's see what it is going to explain. Suppose this is a uniform electric field E, and in this uniform electric field I am placing a conductor. Now what is going to happen? As we always know, positive charge moves in the direction of field and negative charge moves opposite to the direction of the field. So all the positive charge will get collect on the one side, and the negative charge will get collect to the opposite side. Because of induction, the charge will induce positive and negative. Positive will in the direction of the field and negative opposite. Because of this plus and minus, there will be a electric field inside the conductor. This electric field, which will termed as E internal, this electric field will oppose the external field. This internal field will oppose the external field, resulting when this get equal, the net field inside this conductor, the net field inside the conductor will be zero. So we say that the electric field does not pass through the conductor because there is no electric field inside the charged conductor. Or you can also say that if I ask what is the net charge inside the conductor, so net charge is also zero because equal amount of positive and negative charge are induced. There is charge present inside the conductor but equal and opposite. So the net charge inside the conductor is zero, due to which the net electric field inside the conductor is also zero. So let's move to the ninth point. The relative closeness of the lines of force gives us the measure of the strength of the electric field. Means in order to determine the strength of the field, we check their relative closeness, or you can say the density of lines. Now let's see with the diagram. Suppose this is charge Q and this is the number of electric field lines. Now see at point A, this is point A, and I think this is point B. So try to compare where electric field lines are more close, at point A or at point B. From diagram we can see that at point A, electric field lines are more denser. At this point, electric field lines are more denser as compared to point B. So on this basis of this relative closeness, we can say that electric field at point A is stronger than electric field at point B because of the relative closeness of electric field line. As electric field lines move far apart, it gets weak down. As electric field lines are closer, they are stronger. Such kinds of electric field are basically non-uniform field. Now, they are basically non-uniform field because the value of electric field changes. But suppose I take a positive charge plate. So in this case, electric field will be parallel and equally spaced on both the sides. Such kind of electric field where the lines are parallel and equally spaced, they are known as uniform field. In this uniform field, your E remains constant. The value of E does not changes. But in this type of non-uniform field, the value of electric field changes. One more point you can keep it in mind, that is the number of electric field lines proportional to the magnitude of charge. Let me explain with an example. Suppose this is charge Q1 and here is the charge Q2, and these are the number of electric field lines. Now, from both these diagrams, just try to understand how many lines are entering in the charge Q1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 number of lines are entering to the charge Q1. And how many number of lines leaving the charge Q2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 electric field lines are leaving the charge Q2. So see, the number of electric field lines represents the magnitude of charge. Means larger the number of lines, more will be the magnitude. So on comparing these two figures, we can say that Q2 is more than Q1 just by looking at the number of lines only. So just go through this topic and try to memorize this all 10 points which are very important to us and as well as our exam point of view. Okay, thank you.